Hello to Fortopia, welcome to one of our yearly traditions here on 24Kevintendo. I'm your host, 24Kevin, and it's time to look to the future as we attempt to predict what Nintendo has planned for 2018. Now, as is tradition, let's look back and see how we did with last year's prediction. There will be over 80 games by the end of the year.
Yes!
I believe Nintendo will allow mobile games to be released through the Nintendo eShop.
Yes!
Pokemon Go will finally release Gen 2, the Legendaries will finally be released, and Niantic will finally figure out a way to integrate trading.
Yeah, I guess.
While we're at it, I also predict Nintendo will finally release Animal Crossing and Fire Emblem mobile games,
Yes!
while also announcing at least 2 new titles they're working on.
Yes!
4 different Mario games on or announced for the Switch in the first year.
Yes!
We will see our first ever version of the Pokemon main game on Nintendo home consoles.
Yeah, I guess.
And I have a very strong feeling that the system's first shipment is going to sell out. Now,
Yes!
I predict we will get an announcement this year for at least 2 original IPs Nintendo will be developing, with at least one of them being released this year.
Yes!
I do believe Nintendo will continue to release 3DS games through the end of the year.
Yep.
Nintendo would be stupid not to capitalize on this and release another mini console.
Double yup.
One final prediction, and I believe it's a pretty obvious one. I think that Zelda Breath of the Wild will win Game of the Year.
Triple yup.
Dang! 11 for 11! Not too shabby if I do say so myself. Granted, I am taking a few liberties with Pokemon only being announced for the Switch and using Pokemon mobile games, but them's the breaks. I think I might have taken a little bit of the easy route last year, so I'm going to attempt to make a few more bolder predictions this year, or a little bit more detailed predictions. I won't be talking about upcoming directs, the online, or the virtual console, because Nintendo has stated that their online services are coming this year. Then again, they announced it was coming last year, so who knows at this point, but I believe it is coming, and with GameCube games. But enough of my yammering, let's see what we got coming up. First up, let's talk about the Switch's lifetime sales. Now, analysts have predicted that the Switch will sell 14 million units by March 2018, surpassing the Wii U's lifetime sales. This begs the question, how will the Switch's sales fare for the year 2018? Some people think the Switch's sales will slow down, but I have a feeling Nintendo will have some big announcements this year that is gonna leave hype at an all-time high. I think Nintendo Switch should break 24 million units, because why the heck wouldn't it be 24? In other Nintendo system news, I believe Nintendo will continue to print the NES Classic and SNES Classic for the rest of the year, while also releasing at least one more mini console. Whether it's going to be the N64 or Game Boy Classic, I'm sure it will fly off shelves. While on the topic, I believe Nintendo will continue to release games for the 3DS through 2018. I personally was convinced Nintendo was going to be done with the system come the end of the year, but with the recent releases of the new 2DSs, Nintendo could easily pump out 5 or 6 more special editions of that with different colors over the course of the year, and people will gobble them up. Now, there are a few studios that are rumored to be working on Nintendo Switch games, including Retro Studios and Next Level Games. Over at Retro, it's been rumored for some time they've been working on an original IP and a Nintendo IP. I'm inclined to believe that the Nintendo IP will be another Donkey Kong Country game after the success that they've had with the last 3 installments in the series, and I could see it releasing later this year to help pad the holiday lineup. Next Level Games also started preparing for a big project starting in 2016, and players are unsure what they could be working on, but if I had to make a guess, I would have to put my money on a new Luigi's Mansion game. I was convinced some time ago that they were working on a new Punch-Out game, but after the release of ARMS, it would probably crowd the market too much. While I'm at it, I think another game will come out of Platinum Games. While they were busy teasing Bayonetta for the Switch, Platinum Games also teased a port of The Wonderful 101, or even possibly a sequel in The Wonderful 102 being released. Either way, I think The Wonderful 101 was one of the most underrated games for the Wii U, and either a port or a sequel would be greatly appreciated by this guy. Now, you may have noticed that I've been a little reluctant to talk about 2 of the major games, Pokemon for the Switch and Metroid Prime 4. The reason I haven't talked about them yet is because I don't think either of them will be released this year. I'm sorry to you fans of these series, but with Game Freak reportedly wanting to take their time with the Switch, and no gameplay or no real footage from Metroid Prime 4 being shown, I really think the devs are going to take their time and not just push out a so-so game and wait to make it something special. There's also a rumor of an HD Zelda game being in development, but the earliest I could see that coming would be 2020, maybe late 2019. I will say that I think Nintendo will continue to hype up Pokemon though, and announce that Detective Pikachu will finally be coming to the West to coincide with the movie's release. Pokemon Go will also add in new features, and Pokemon Crystal will come for the 3DS as sort of a final hoorah for the 3DS system. Now let's talk about the games that Nintendo has announced will be releasing in the next year. So far the list is very slim, but it does include Kirby Star Allies, Yoshi, Fire Emblem, and Bayonetta 1 and 2 getting a re-release in January. What other games could release this year though? Well, for starters, I think Nintendo could reveal that a new mainline Animal Crossing will finally be released. I know I made this prediction 2 years ago, but I really think it's gonna happen this year. Mostly because they released Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, and Nintendo has stated that there will be some compatibility with that and future Animal Crossing titles. While on the topic of predictions that I made 2 years ago, I'm gonna add Pikmin 4 to the mix. Nintendo has said this game has basically been completed for some time, and I think it would really help flesh out this year's lineup quite well. Last year, I also made the prediction of Mario games coming to the Nintendo Switch, and with Nintendo's record of producing Mario games hands over fist over the last few years, I think Nintendo will release at least 2 more Mario games this year. If I had to make a guess as to what those games would be, I would have to put my money on either a Mario Party title or a Mario Sports title. Or maybe it'll finally be that Mario Maker port that people have been begging for some time. Normally I'd think that Mario and Sonic at the Olympics 2018 would be a shoo-in, but I haven't heard anything about that game even being in development, and after the last 2 titles flopped in 2016, I don't know if Nintendo would want to invest resources into this franchise again. Now Nintendo also has a huge IP they're sitting on that they have yet to release that could be considered a Switch seller to the casual fan. I'm of course talking about releasing a Switch Sports Resort, or something along those lines. Sure, there has been absolutely nothing mentioned about this, aside from plenty of game wish lists, but the original Wii Sports was such a huge hit on the Wii and really brought it to a whole new audience for Nintendo. I know Nintendo was hoping that 1-2 Switch would be the new sports series for the console, but nothing beats the simplicity of picking up and playing bowling with your family, or having a nice relaxing round of golf to end the day. So that covers all the big Nintendo titles for the upcoming year, but that leaves a couple of months with big release gaps, and with Nintendo seemingly want to push out a AAA title every single month, this creates a problem. Granted, we have titles like Project Octopath Traveler, Mega Man 11, and Wolfenstein 2 coming, just to name a few, there is still a lot of space for games to fill up there. I think Nintendo will help fill out their yearly lineup by adding some huge ports, and the biggest that I think will be coming will be Grand Theft Auto 5. There have been rumors that a port was being worked on for some time, and with Nintendo pushing to have more mature titles released on the Nintendo Switch, this almost seems like a lock to me. Bethesda also seems to be eager to release more titles on the Switch, and with the success of Skyrim and Doom, and Wolfenstein 2 coming in the new year, I could see Bethesda announcing 1, maybe 2 more titles for the Nintendo Switch this year. If I had to guess, I would put my money on a Fallout game, and possibly The Evil Within 2. It was a pretty crazy 2017, and Nintendo did a lot of things people would have never expected them to do. But hopefully with the hype train at an all-time high, Nintendo can continue to surprise us and reclaim their spot atop the video game mountain. And that's all the time we got for today's episode. Leave a comment down below and let me know what your guys' prediction for 2018 is for Nintendo. For everyone here at 24KevinTendo, I'm your host 24Kevin. See y'all next time. Hope you had a great day. Happy New Year, and boom!